One morning, Toby the tram engine was sent for an important job. He'd been told to help with repairing the Great Waterton Tramway and would bring workmen in to work alongside the pack. He and his coach, Henrietta, didn't mind these jobs, as they did it all the time on the quarry on Thomas's branch line. As Toby arrived at the station, Stanley was there to greet him. "Hello, Toby. Ready for another day's work?" "Absolutely," smiled Toby. "It is quite nice to work on a tramway again. Reminds me of the good old days." "So you just came to relive some memories, eh?" "Oh, don't worry about that. Henrietta will make sure I stay focused." "Oh, Toby, we just need to make a good impression is all. And we'll be very happy to." "We will indeed." "Well, that's splendid to hear. Shall we get to it then?" "Gladly." As Toby said hello to Jack and Ned, a thought crossed his smokebox. "Do you know if they have a tram to run the line yet?" "Not that I'm aware of."
"We've all been busy doing fixes. They haven't had much time to think about other engines."
"Well, hopefully they'll find one soon." Jack grew confused.
"Toby, why don't you run the line? You're a tram."
"Oh, I'm much too old to be running a line on my own. I've served my time. It's time for a new engine to get it turned. That is, if they ever get one."
"Oh, don't worry yourself, Toby," Henrietta replied warmly. "You know that as soon as we're gone, they'll be dying to get a new tram. They won't have to wait a day."
"I suppose, but there aren't many trams left on the mainland anymore. None that would work for these rails anyway." Toby's concern only grew throughout the day. That was, until it was time to leave. He heard something strange.
"Help! Anyone? Help!"
"Goodness gracious! What's wrong, Henrietta?"
"What do you mean, what's wrong? Didn't one of the workmen yell for help? Not that I heard."
"We'll check, just to be safe," said his driver. The crew made sure everyone was all right. Nobody on board had heard a sound. "Well, Toby, nobody seems to have heard anything."
"Oh, Toby, you should know better than to listen to the whispers of the wind."
But Toby knew what he had heard. He told Stanley that night in the sheds. "It was high-pitched, almost like an echo. Nobody else seemed to notice a thing, but I know what I heard." "That's funny. I heard a story about an echoing voice. Maybe it's that?" "Oh, what's the story?" "It's about an engine that was forgotten in an old shed. It wails for help, hoping someone will notice." "Are you sure you aren't confusing it with the legend of Duke?" "The legend of who?" "Never mind," said Toby, and he drifted off to sleep, though he couldn't stop thinking about the voice. The next morning, Toby was up bright and early. Their next job was demolishing an old shed and beginning to build a brand new one. This took Toby's mind off the shriek. That is, until he was about to leave to fetch Oliver's big wrecking ball.
There it is! The voice! Was that what that was? It sounded like a mouse to me.
"So you heard it too?" "I did as well. It must have come from a certain part of the line."
I think it came from that old siding up ahead."
Toby then noticed an old set of points that led into the forest. "Too right, Henrietta. We must tell Stanley," he noted. "Ah, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about," said Stanley when the others came to meet him. "We haven't inspected that part of the line yet, as the town's restoration has been top priority. I didn't realize there was someone there." "Well, whoever it is, we need to rescue them." "We shall, but we'll do it late at night. Work still needs to be done, you know." And so, that night, Toby and Stanley, alongside Henrietta and a works train, marched along to the set of points. Trevor the traction engine came too, as he could be a big help for clearing debris. Once the driver flipped the switch, the cavalcade puffed down the old rickety line. They pushed through branches and brush, and the bumps on the rails bounced them around, but they pressed on. At last, they came to a point where they could reach no further. A large blockade of rocks and branches covered the track ahead.
"Leave it to me,"
The little traction engine grinned. Soon, Trevor had pulled most of the debris away. All that was left was a big boulder.
I don't think I'm strong enough to hold this.
Maybe we can push it.
Oh, come now. That rock is too big for that. You'll damage yourself.
I suppose we'll have to head back then.
Wait! I have an idea! Exclaimed Toby in realization. There's a machine at the quarry.
Henrietta and I speak to him sometimes. He could help clear the way.
Oh, yes, of course.
Come on, old boy. Let's hurry. Toby raced off to collect the machinery. Everyone else waited eagerly for his return. It wasn't long until they heard a strange sound.
Hold on. What's that?
Is Toby's boiler about to burst?
No, silly. They're here.
Toby pulled up with a red machine with 2 big arms.
What's up, dudes?
He said casually. Who are you? Stanley asked in amazement.
I'm Thumper, man, and I'm here to help. I heard there was something for me to get through. Well, we've been struggling with this blockade. Rock on! Let's do this!
So Thumper swiftly pushed through using his arms. He moved as hard as he could. At last, he was able to get through. The caravan gasped. They could finally see what was ahead of them for the first time.
This is rad!
It's just an old shed.
Not just an old shed. Look at the sign. It's from the tramway.
Everyone watched on in anticipation. The drivers slowly opened the door.
Well, bless my bell. It's a tram engine.
The little tram opened a sleepy eye. Then the other shot open in shock. Could it be? You've come to help me?
Indeed. We heard your cries from the tramway, and we knew we had to help.
Wait, the tramway? It's back? Yep, and so is Great Waterton. But it wouldn't be without Toby. He's the one who heard your shriek in the first place. My, I haven't seen another tram engine since the good old days. Toby laughed.
Tell me, who are you?
And what are you doing in this old shed? My name is Flora, and I worked on the mainland for years. But then we hit hard times. Lucky for me, the Great Waterton Tramway Company bought me, and I was saved. For decades, I carried my beautiful coach up and down the line. Oh, I had so many wonderful friends, too. That is, until we hit hard times. Nobody bought me, and I was good for scrap. So I was tucked in this little shed. I don't know how long it's been now. I lost count of the days when my driver stopped visiting.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you and hear your story. You'll certainly be a welcome addition to the new tramway once more. I'll be sure to ask Jem Cole to help with your repairs.
Flora smiled, and the caravan cheered. Soon, Flora was polished and restored, and she looked wonderful. The tramway company was able to use the funds they set aside on buying a new tram, and bought Flora a lovely new coach instead. With a little guidance from Toby, Flora settled back into working life, and is now a friendly sight amongst the people of Great Waterton. She takes passengers around town and trucks up goods to the businesses along the tramway. Flora is very grateful, and is sure that she'll never be lost again. One day, the engines were preparing for another day's work when Sir Topham Hatt came with exciting news. I have just come from an important meeting with the Knapford Playwright Group, and have agreed to let them use the big station as a stage for their newest production. The engines were excited. Not only that, but they will need an engine to star in the play alongside the actors. I shall be choosing an engine soon. Good day. And he went back to his office. All this talk about a play makes me excited. I'm sure I'd be picked. I'll look a lot more elegant for the play. I'm sure to be chosen. I don't see the fuss. Of course you don't, Duck. You're a silly tank engine. Exactly. This job is meant for more splendid engines, like me. They're sure to choose me. We'll see, James. I saw Sir Topham Hatt looking very sharply at me. That doesn't mean you'll be chosen. I don't believe it! Why would Sir Topham Hatt choose Emily? It's just a play, James. Maybe you'll get your chance next time. But James wanted to be in the play more than ever. Soon, Knapford was closed and decked out for the play. Seats were put up on one side of the station, so everyone could watch the performance. Emily was pulled from service and had a coach put behind her. Boko was called to push her onto the stage when the story called for it. Passengers watched from a temporary platform as the actors practiced their lines. Their favorite part was when Emily nearly hit a little girl who was waving to stop her. "It's impressive work. It's very clever." Emily was very pleased. Duck watched from afar as he did some shunting. He didn't find it clever at all. "That's more dangerous than anything. It isn't the Great Western way. They're professionals. I'm sure they're being very safe." "Oh, Duck, you just don't understand the importance of it all. I can already see myself gliding into the platform with my show face on." Duck was doubtful. On the day the play would open, Emily was in her routine as usual. She was pushed onto stage as the actors did their bit. "Scene! Let's roll through that one more time." Boko began to pull her from the stage. Suddenly, Emily's wheels jammed. She couldn't move, no matter how hard Boko pulled. "Emily, do you mind turning off your brakes?" "They're not on. I don't know what's wrong." "Well, that's a problem. It's opening night tonight. And we need an engine. It's essential." "Indeed. Inspector, can you see if anything is wrong?" He quickly found the problem. Emily's bearings have seized solid. She needs completely new ones, and it could take days to install them. "Sir, could you—" Yes, don't worry. I'll find you a new engine shortly." So Topham Hatt scoured the yard. He knew he had to act quickly. As he searched, he noticed 2 loud engines locked in an argument. He sighed and approached the ruckus. "You don't understand how dangerous it is, James." "I don't care about the danger. I care about the importance." "So you're saying—" "I'm saying I could care less about being safe. I just want to star in a play." Sir," James quivered. Sir, I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it. How much did you hear?" "Enough, James." Sir Topham Hatt sighed, and then looked back up at Duck, who was laughing at James's predicament. The controller's eyes narrowed. "Duck, I'm choosing you to be a part of the play." "Me, sir?" "Him, sir." "Yes, Duck. It's rather urgent. Emily cannot be used anymore, and James has decided to make his own act. We need you now, and we need you to act quickly." "Well, I can't. I have to help with the yard." "You know full well that I have shunters. You're just helping out. Please, Duck. There are many people relying on this." "Well, all right. With all due respect, sir, why choose him when you could choose me?" "James, one more word from you and I'm sending you to the shed. Duck, meet me at the station shortly. I'm sure you will do great." "Okay, sir. Thank you." Secretly, Duck was nervous. Boko sighed as he pushed the coach behind Duck. "I don't get a break, I tell you." "Right, from the top. Action!" The actors did their bit, and Duck was pushed onto stage. He saw the girl on the tracks and became worried. She waved red to stop. Just when he was about to hit her, Duck suddenly stopped. The little girl looked frozen solid, which made Duck worried. "Scene!" yelled the director. The girl suddenly moved around to prepare for the next scene. Duck was surprised. Wait, so how do they know when to stop? By cameras. Look! A camera had been placed on the top of the station, which Duck had only just noticed. Boko's driver looks at the camera and knows when to stop. It's clever, I tell you. Huh, I guess it is safe. Well, as long as you're being careful, I'll do whatever you need me to. Ah, excellent. That's the spirit. I'm sorry I haven't caught your name. Montague, though I'm usually called Duck. Ah, Montague. I like that name. Brilliant for an actor such as yourself. In fact, it reminds me of another play we did recently. That was one of the characters' last names. Oh, interesting, sir, but again, I usually go by Duck. Oh, yes, I'm sure we can work with that too. I think you're a fine addition to our play. I can't wait to work with you. After lots more practice, it was finally time for the show to open. The first one was a complete sellout. Everyone watched closely as Duck came out looking marvelous. The scene soon came where Duck nearly hit the little girl. Everyone was very impressed. When the show was over, Duck, alongside all the other actors, came to the stage to take their bows. The director announced Duck directly. We'd like to give a big thank you to Sir Topham Hatt's Railway, and especially my good friend Montague here, one of the finest engine actors in the whole world. The crowd cheered, and Duck grinned broadly. You know, Duck whispered to Boko, I quite like this whole acting thing.
Oh yes, spoke a yawn. I'm sure you had a good time.
The first night was soon over, and the next morning, Sir Topham Hatt and the director came to Duck. Splendid work, my great Montague. Yes, indeed. Well done. Thank you, sirs. I wanted to ask you something. Why you want the most accurate engine for the time period of the play setting, we can paint you in an older-looking livery. It was his idea, but it's your choice. We won't force you. Duck thought for a moment. You know, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. The next night commenced, and some of the engines came to watch from afar after hearing of Duck's wonderful performance. They were in for a shock when he was pushed on the stage. Instead of his green, Duck had a lovely brown livery that looked splendid. When the show was over, the actors took their bows once more, and the engines blew their whistles in celebration. Soon the play was over, and life returned to normal for the engines. A couple days after the end of the production, Sir Topham Hatt and the director came to visit Duck once more. Duck was excited to hear about their next idea. I have very grand news, Duck. The director was very pleased with your performance, and proposed to me that, if they ever need an engine for their plays again, they'll come straight to you. How does that sound? Duck smiled broadly. Of course, sir. That sounds lovely. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Just wait until we go on tour. Oh, how wonderful it will be. Duck and Sir Topham Hatt shared a look at this idea. Duck decided to keep his new livery for a while. The other engines often greeted him with cheers and praise, especially Emily, who was grateful for Duck filling in for her. The same, however, could not be said for James, who was very embarrassed about his behavior and wanted nothing to do with the play whatsoever. You know, James, I think you still have it in you. They should make a play called The Tragedy of Red the Vane, in which a conceited red engine doesn't stop talking, leading to his own downfall. It seems like the perfect role for you. James could only hide in a cloud of steam, and didn't retort as he puffed away. While Sir Topham Hatt does try his best to keep the Knapford Shunters together, there's times when some of them have to leave. It was time for Ginty's yearly maintenance, so he had to go to the works. And Hunter had to go help out on the Little Western. So Sir Topham Hatt sent Den and Dart to help out instead. Unbeknownst to their controller, however, Den and Dart are like partners in crime. They can't be without each other, and are both troublesome. Their close relationship helps them pull tricks. Pug and Philip, none the wiser, welcomed them warmly.
It's nice to meet you two.
Aye, happy to have an extra pair of engines to help.
Well, of course, what I mean to say is...
What he means is, we're happy to help you too.
Philip and Pug didn't think twice about the new Shunters, but as they would soon find out, trouble was already brewing. A few hours after everyone had set to work, it all seemed to be going fine, but suddenly, the yardmaster came up. Den, I need you to take a train to the junction. It's important.
Yes, sir,
grumbled Den. He was enjoying his sunbathing and didn't want to leave.
What was that all about?
I'm being forced away to pull a train.
Why don't we just get the others to do it?
You mean...
Yeah, I think.
Fantastic. Then we can show them who's the,
Boss?
That's it. But, who do we get to take it?
Gordon, it's a new record. It only took me 5 minutes flat to get you your coaches from the moment you arrived at the platform.
Well done, Philip. That's wonderful.
You know me. I love being as fast as I can.
Indeed. I must go now. Goodbye.
Bye, Gordon.
I think I have an idea. Soon, Den and Dart had rolled up to Philip.
Oi, Philip, there's a train that needs to be taken to the junction, and they want you to take it. But I thought that was your job, Den.
It was, but, what I mean to say is...
What he means is, he just can't. Why? It's an important train, you see. One that needs a fast engine. Den isn't that fast.
Oi.
Ooh, I love going fast. Oh, Philip, you're such a hero. Now don't delay. You know where it is? Yep, I saw when I got the express. On my way,
said Philip as he sped away.
Well, that went even better than expected.
Yeah. Did you see how willing he was? I think the speed thing really got him going. Maybe we can continue this.
You're right. Now, while he's gone, We could play a trick.
Oh, indeed.
So, while Philip was gone, Den and Dart made a mess of the yard. They were enjoying their fun until they heard a small horn nearby.
Quick, Philip is back. Act natural. Oh, dizzy diesels, why did we ever listen? Goodness, whatever has happened? While you were gone, those silly trucks told us they knew where everything went. Now everything's out of order. What? We never said that. Ow! Oh dear, why did you listen to the trucks? Well, we couldn't find Pug. I was in the station the entire time talking to Rugby. You could have come and found me. They were talking loudly too. You guys even complained about it. Ow! We're awfully sorry, Philip. We didn't mean for the yard to get this messy.
Pug was stunned and wanted to retort, but Philip was more level-headed.
Oh, it's all right. You're new around here. And now that you've learned your lesson, hopefully this won't happen again.
But it did. Whenever Den and Dart were assigned to take trains, they convinced the naive Boxcat to do the work for them. When he was gone, they would cause trouble, and when he came back, they would come up with different excuses. Sometimes Pug would get caught in some of their schemes as well. He became cross, and crosser still at Philip, who kept letting it happen. Sir Topham Hatt was also rather annoyed indeed. We have a yard to run, and all these delays are making the yard inefficient. I expect better from you all. Yes, sir, they all said. At 12 o'clock every day, there's a special service called the Knapford Express. The train comes in all the way from Vicarstown, and it's famous for its luxury and style. It's very important that the coaches are treated correctly and carefully, and are placed in the correct siding. Formerly, Philip did this job, but Den and Dart asked him once more to take a train to the junction. Pug, unaware of the change, couldn't find Philip, so he went to take the coaches away. I'm betting it's another one of those diesel schemes. Pug was soon pushing the coaches back into the yards. It was going smoothly. But then there was trouble.
What happened? Oh, dizzy diesels, you got in my way. You should have seen me. Now you've ruined the coaches.
Dart took a closer look. The coach was completely ruined. Its windows were shattered, its paintwork was ruined, and a large dent was present, right where the truck hit it.
Well, you can always get another coach. Not with the Knapford Express. Oh, please, that service isn't even important.
Oh, yes it is. Sir Topham Hatt came out of his office to see what the commotion was about. What's also important to me, Dart, is that I'm trying to run a railway that's being upended by two mischievous diesels. It's clear how this accident happened, but it seems to me that that's just scratching the surface of your malpractice. May I ask what I heard you tell Philip earlier?
What do you mean?
It was something about taking a train for you, how the job needed to be done fast.
Oh, well, you must have heard wrong.
Dart,
Shouted Den, who was just pulling in with Philip.
I don't think sending Philip to take our train worked. His engine's fried.
Den! I guess all that running around made my engine get all hot.
Sir Topham Hatt sighed. A trip to the works will be in order then. I expect that Den and Dart can escort you there on their way home.
Home, sir?
Indeed. I see why this yard is a mess now. You've been playing tricks, which has led to everything becoming disorganized. Things ran much smoother before you two arrived. I will not be inviting you back. Now, take Philip away, won't you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They said sheepishly. As the yard was left with no more shunters, Sir Topham Hatt ordered for Hunter to return from the Little Western immediately. His first assignment was helping clean up the mess.
Are you alright, Pug?
Aye, I'll be fine. Still, I'm worried.
What about?
About you lot. You'll be without me for a while.
Don't worry, Pug. We'll keep the yard going, and who knows, maybe Sir Topham Hatt will get a more reliable engine to help.
Hunter had spoken too soon. But that's another story. After Pug's accident, Sir Topham Hatt quickly wanted to get everything back on track, so he expedited Ginty and Philip's repairs. Pug, on the other hand, was badly damaged, so he had to stay in the works. With this in mind, Sir Topham Hatt organized for a replacement engine to do the work, although he was a bit hesitant. Eventually, the replacement engine arrived, and Hunter was there to greet him. "Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Hunter. What's your name?"
The name is Dennis.
"Wonderful, Dennis. Now, we're a busy yard, so I hope you're ready for a lot of hard work."
Oh yes, of course. Anything to make Sir Topham Hatt happy.
"Excellent. Please go and get James's coaches first. His train is due very soon, so you better hurry. Your future jobs will be given by the yardmaster. Have a good day." And Hunter rolled away, grinning. Unbeknownst to him, however, Dennis was a lazy engine. After he was given his job, he rolled into a siding. His driver tried to wake him up, but Dennis had already fallen fast asleep. Hunter, meanwhile, had just finished arranging the express when he heard a shrill whistle. "Where's my coaches? I've been waiting at the platform for 15 minutes!" "Huh? Well, Dennis was supposed to arrange it." "Who?" The temporary shunter, a light grey diesel." "Oh no, don't tell me Sir Topham Hatt brought him here." "What's wrong with him? He seemed willing to work." "That's what he makes you think. He's useless. I don't know why Sir Topham Hatt keeps him. I've never seen such a lazy engine." "James, just because he's a diesel doesn't mean—" "Hunter, it's more than that. He gets told his jobs, then runs off to go sleep somewhere in the yards. Now hurry up and fetch my coaches. I'm already going to be late, and I don't want to be any later." "Lazy engine?" Hunter muttered to himself. "I can't believe it. I won't believe it." But just as James had said, he found Dennis lounging in his siding. "Oi, Dennis, what are you doing?"
I had some engine troubles, you see. I ran out of fuel, but I had just enough to move into the siding, nothing more."
Okay. Why didn't you tell me that when I gave you your job?"
"Oh, well, I forgot and was somewhat tired. I traveled a very long way, you see, and my wheels are awfully worn."
"I thought you were brought here in a goods train?"
"Oh, yes, the flatbed, yes. Oh, the flatbed. It was so uncomfortable and really tiring."
Okay. Well, try not to have it happen again, please. We have a very tight operation here, and I prefer not to screw it up. James was late today, and I just get my break to shunt his train for you."
"Of course, don't you worry. I'll work as hard as my wheels can carry me."
"Excellent to hear, Dennis. Thank you." And Hunter strolled away. Dennis chuckled impertinently. He was lucky his driver wasn't around, and he'd gotten away with it. For the next few days, the engines continued to ask Dennis to do many things. Dennis would always sigh, then he promised he'd do the very best he could, before finding himself a cozy siding to sleep in, or pretend he couldn't do any work.
"Oh, my crankshaft has an issue. It isn't rotating properly. I need it looked at. Oh, and I can't shunt these. They're far too heavy. Oh no, I can't do that. I'm nearly out of fuel.
"You've filled up 3 times today!"
My, I must have a leak. I certainly can't work without a fuel leak, Hunter."
Dennis was wearing all the engines out. One morning, Rebecca came in to see the yard a mess. "Sorry, Rebecca. We're a little tight right now." "Oh my, whatever happened?" "Nobody had a chance to move the vans that came with the midnight goods, so everything's all out of order now." "If I'm not mistaken, isn't that Dennis in the siding over there? He doesn't look busy." Hunter explained to her all about Dennis's stint in the yard. Any word on when Pug will return?" "Coincidentally, this accident coincides with his yearly maintenance checkup, so we most likely will be like this for a while longer." Well, why not tell Sir Topham Hatt about it?" "Oh, I wish it was that simple, Rebecca. Sir Topham Hatt considers his shunt as a team and treats us accordingly. If there's one weak link, then our whole chain gets the blame. We've tried to tell him that it's Dennis's fault. But whenever he watches us work, that's when he actually does his job. And since he never works, he has loads of energy and shunts far better than we do. As such, he's getting quite a bit of a favor with Sir Topham Hatt, and now he even trusts Dennis more than us. We're getting the blame, and Dennis gets the appreciation." "My, that sounds awful." If only he trusted us more, then he'd listen." Thought Rebecca. She knew exactly what she had to do. Finally, Rebecca's coaches arrived at the platform. She saw Sir Topham Hatt on the platform. He was cross. "Dear, oh dear, I buy all these shunters, and even give them help when they are short, yet the yards become a mess." "Sir?" "Yes, Rebecca?" "If I may ask, sir,
why do you think the yards are a mess?
Oh, I've been trying to figure that out myself. The Shunters tell me that Dennis is the problem, but I only ever see him working hard to keep my railway in order. It simply doesn't make sense. The Shunters look orderly, but the yard doesn't.
Well, sir, I'm not sure you have your story straight.
Whatever do you mean, Rebecca?
So Rebecca told him what Hunter had said. So Topham Hatt listened intently. I'd suggest you go take a look at Dennis working in the yards right now.
Thank you for the insight, Rebecca. I certainly shall.
Of course, sir. Thank you, grinned Rebecca, and she puffed away.
Sir Topham Hatt was as good as his word. Dennis was sleeping in a siding once more. He didn't hear his controller shouting up to him until... Wake up, Dennis!
Huh? What? Hello, sir. Oh, well, how did this get here?
I should have known, Dennis. I brought you here to help the other engines, not slack off and take constant naps. Here I was thinking you'd improve. You'd learn your lesson from last time. But no. If this continues, I will not hesitate to leave you in a shed, where you can sleep for as long as you would like. Now I owe the other Shunters an apology indeed. Dennis gulped and quickly shot back to work. If you heard the others speak of it, they'd say it was like a completely different engine took over Dennis's controls. Whenever they asked him to shunt certain trains, he quickly sprung into action. And he continued to work long into the night. My, I didn't think anyone would be able to convince the Topham Hatt, Hunter said to Rebecca the next morning. Thank you.
Indeed, we really appreciate it.
Of course. I was just trying to help out my hard-working friends.
You've done quite a lot more than you think. I apologize for not listening to any of you. And I have good news. Pug has been repaired and will be returning tomorrow. Oh, that's a relief. But what about Dennis? He shall not be returning to help with shunting again. This incident has made me realize that he is the incorrect engine to send to this yard. The others agreed with that.
Soon enough, Dennis left and Pug returned, and the yard ran smoothly once more. The Shunters were glad to be back together and are very happy not to be working with troublesome diesels again.
One day, Mike arrived late to the station. He tried to slide in when no one was looking. But up above from the ballast chute, Bert saw clear as day.
You're late.
And you're ugly, so we'll call it even.
Mike, you're late. That's a much bigger issue.
All right, I am, but not by much.
30 minutes? That's not much.
Well, of course not. Not when you got stuck on the hill and delayed all trains for an hour.
You know that wasn't my fault. You can't seem to keep the time. We're a busy railway after all.
And the pair continued to argue, quite loudly. At last, Mr. Duncan broke it up.
Cut it out, you two. We don't need fighting. Tell Bert that. He's complaining about my lateness.
I'm quite aware. Bert, you need to stop playing controller and let me handle reprimanding my engines.
But sir,
Bert! Yes, sir.
Now, Mike, why were you late?
Bert's delay was the main cause. I was able to begin making time again, but then we confronted a cow on the line. We had to wait for the farmer.
Did you blow your whistle off again?
Bert! No, but I'm sure I could have used that big blue whale like you to scare it off.
Mike! So just like always, you need me to fix your mistakes.
Well, I just know how much experience you have fixing your own.
You're a horrid engine.
Oh, am I now?
Enough!
Bert, go to the shed immediately. And Mike, move onto the leftmost line and stay there. What? Why don't I get to go to the shed? Because tensions are high between you two, and I don't want to risk another interference.
Mike growled indignantly at this. He sat there for a while and could only watch the commotion of the big engines. In his viewings, he watched Donald come in for ballast.
Haven't heard this, Mike. Bert and I had a little debate. Did you know?
I should know. I heard it.
Not now, Frank. Anyways, yes, I was late, and Bert tried reprimanding me. As per usual, Mr. Duncan told me to stay here, and he got to go to the shed.
You forgot the part where... Shut it, Frank!
My, Bert's got you in a right tizzy.
It's not a tizzy, it's frustration. Since when did Bert care so much for the time? He caused all trains to be delayed. Recently, too.
As Mike was complaining to Donald, Bert was having a similar conversation with Rex.
That Mike is a right prick. He got me in trouble with Mr. Duncan. I was just trying to help, and this is what I get for it?
I do admit, it's a bit hypocritical of you to criticize him, considering how you delayed the entire railway not that long ago.
Oh, so Mike can have blockage on the line and I can't?
Wait, what?
Yes, there was a tree on the line. Frank had to come and help remove it with the men.
I can attest to that, said Frank as he rolled into the shed. By the way, Mike is ruining your name out there.
Of course he is.
Cheer up, Bert. I understand a blocked tree isn't your fault, just as a cow isn't Mike's. As soon as you two realize that, you'll get along fine. I'm afraid things didn't get as better as Rex had hoped. Whenever the two engines saw each other, they glared in a way that seemed one would push the other off the rails in a heartbeat. Mr. Duncan even had to put them tender to tender in the shed. But soon, there would be even more trouble. Bert was puffing along one morning with a ballast train. He hadn't been feeling right all day, but decided to push through with work anyway. Soon he reached a small hill. He had no trouble climbing it, but when he reached the top, he couldn't pin his brakes. Soon enough, Bert was out of control and careening down the other side.
Help! Help!
He cried. Just then he saw Mike, waiting at a siding for Bert to pass.
Mike! Help! I can't stop!
My goodness! Quickly, driver! We must help him! He called to his driver, and they gave chase. Mike struggled to catch up with Bert's rapid pace. With great effort, he reached the train.
Mike! Please! Help!
I'm on it! Mike shot forward and gave Bert a shove.
Mike, please! Not now!
Cool it, Bert! The bump just helped me couple up to you.
They passed the shed, and the yard loomed in the distance.
Stop, Mike! Now or never!
Mike forced his brakes on hard. They rolled up the chute, which slowed their momentum. The buffers loomed ahead. Bert shut his eyes and prepared for the worst. The yard was quiet at last. Bert opened his eyes.
Mike! Oh, Mike! You've done it!
Mike was panting with relief.
Oh, please. It was nothing. At least we didn't crash like Sigrid did.
You're telling me. Thank you, Mike, for saving me. I'm sorry for penalizing you when you were late. I should have known how responsible you really are.
And I'm sorry for my remarks. I'll admit, you playing railway controller can help me sometimes. I wouldn't have known when to put my brakes on if you hadn't told me after all.
Bert smiled.
Right, shall we get down so we can get this ballast delivered?
Aye, you should. I can hardly even hear you two without you yelling. What are you waiting for anyway? Ah, get me going, won't you? The two little engines looked at each other and laughed. Friends at last. On the far side of the island, the little engines often bring waves of happy vacationers to explore the old castle and mines. There, another little engine works, who carries these visitors around on tour. The engine's name is Bertram, and all who speak to him will talk later of his proper voice, which sounds like that of a poet reading a sonnet in a park. Much like these poets, Bertram loves to tell stories to everyone who might listen. The little engines, who often speak to Bertram when they visit, quite like his tales. All the engines except for Duncan. One day, Duncan was tasked to take the enthusiast to the mines. He was most annoyed, which was evident, of course, by his endless complaining. Humph, the thing controller tasked me to work in these filthy mines. Me, of all the engines he could have chosen. Smart enough, dear chap, called Bertram, chuckling. I'm not that bad, am I? Of course not, but all I wish I could be doing is sitting in the shed and basking in the sun.
Well, you can't do both at the same time. The shed roof sits over your head.
An engine can dream. If I were you, I would want to be useful, not be shut up in a shed. I would know. I was stuck in one for years.
Oh no, not another story, Bertram.
Oh, come now, Duncan. I think you'll like this one.
Well, it's not like I can go anywhere. You might as well tell me. Excellent. I can also tell you about how he became known as the Old Warrior. Yes, just start already. And this was the story Bertram told. Long ago, Bertram worked in the mine shafts. He carried empty wagons in and loads of lead out. He would work very hard from dawn till dusk. The workmen liked him very much. Even then, he loved to tell stories, and the men enjoyed the entertainment. Who they didn't like, however, was Smudger. Smudger was a cocky and bouncy little engine who constantly came off the rails. He wouldn't listen at all. The manager had sent him to help out, but there wasn't much helping occurring.
Hey, buddy, get me back on the rails, will ya? It's Bertram. Whatever, just pull me back on.
Bertram did, unwillingly. Later, Bertram had to take a train to the wharf. He was thankful to talk to the other engines there. It would be better than talking to Smudger.
Hello, Bertram. You look tired.
How could you tell?
Hard to ignore the bags under your eyes.
Let me guess. Smudger? I get it. That silly green engine is hard to handle.
He never listens, not even to Duke. And it seems the manager's punishment hasn't had any effect on him.
If he's being punished, then why am I the one having to deal with him? The manager must have thought you could do something about him, with your professionalism and all. If not even Duke can keep him from acting up, then I certainly can't do anything. One thing's for sure, he definitely can't be trusted. And Bertram was right. Back at the mines, Smudger was bumping the trucks. They bit into some gunpowder cans.
Oi, there's a blasting day inside the mines. We don't need a spectacle out here. Clear off. I know what I'm doing.
But he didn't. For a moment, nothing happened. But suddenly... "Get out of the mine!" cried the foreman. "There's been an accident!" Uh-oh. Smudger tried to run, but didn't see a rock on the line and a rail.
Oh no!
Shouts and coughs began to emerge from the collapsing mine. There were workmen still inside. In the midst of the commotion, Bertram arrived. He heard the voices of the trapped workmen. Wasting no time, he called to his driver.
"Uncouple all but 2 of these trucks! I'm going in!"
His driver did so, and Bertram darted into the mine. "Hurry, Bertram! The mines are caving in!" Before long, he had found the workmen, who were holding on to each other so as not to lose anyone.
"Get in!"
he cried. They quickly boarded. Another problem arose.
Where's Robert? We can't leave Robert.
"Don't worry! I'm coming!" Bertram marched further into the mines, but by now there was more danger. Rocks began to fall. A large slab of lead fell into Bertram's tank, and he yelped in pain. But nothing would stop the little engine. He quickly found Robert, who was injured by a falling rock and could only limp. The workmen quickly pulled him onto the truck. "Go it, Bertram, go it!" So Bertram sprinted back to the mine. It felt longer than when he went in to make the rescue, but smoke started to plume, and Bertram's rush made sparks. The sparks ignited more of the gunpowder. When the chaos had died down, the mine was destroyed. Bertram was all right, but was very dented. The workmen, meanwhile, could only cheer for their hero. When the manager arrived, they told him all about the little engine's escapade. What a brave engine Bertram is! He marched in there like an old warrior, not letting anything get in his way. You should be very proud.
Well, Bertram, you certainly have left an impact on these workers. I am very proud of you. You may not be my engine, but I shall pay to have you repaired of all those dents. Your act of bravery deserves a reward. I think the workmen put it best, old warrior.
"Thank you, sir," said Bertram, who was still out of breath. The manager then turned his attention to Smudger.
Now, Smudger, this has to be the worst thing you've ever done. I've had it up to here with you. Meet me at the sheds later. We shall be having a very serious discussion.
Yes, sir. Before long, Bertram was fixed, and soon was back to work. The workmen began to call Bertram by his nickname, the Old Warrior. Bertram couldn't have been any more proud. Unfortunately, The mine began to fall on hard times after the incident. While Bertram tried his hardest, it eventually closed. Bertram was stowed away in a shed, as no one could afford to keep him running. He felt depressed. However, through it all, the workmen he had saved never left him. They and his crew would always come and visit, and on these days, Bertram felt very happy indeed. He just knew he had to save them. He didn't realize his act would keep him company for all these years. Many years later, some workmen discovered him when they were restoring his mine into a tourist attraction. And now we're here. I received an overhaul, which got me a tender, as my bunker was too small and very rusted. Now I work very hard taking visitors all around the mines. Whatever happened to Smudger? Asked Duncan, who was now very intrigued. Well, he got turned into a generator, said Duke, who was just pulling in. And I'll be sure to ask Mr. Percival to make you one if you don't make room for me and my coaches. Quiet, Duke, I'm going. Thank you for the story, Bertram. I'm sorry for speaking low of these mines. I hope I'll be back here again soon. Maybe then you can tell me more stories. Anytime, dear chap. Anytime. Duncan! All right! And with that, Duncan puffed away. Telling stories again. You know me, Duke. Always willing to tell a great story. Indeed, old warrior. Now, show off these mines with pride, won't you? Of course. Then I'll tell them the tale of the mine's ghost engine. Woo! Never change, Bertram. Never change. One day, Edward had to go to the works to be mended. So Sir Topham Hatt put Molly in charge of banking trains up Gordon's Hill. She enjoyed her new duties and loved being able to work alongside the mainline engines. Most of the time she could bank the train swiftly, but others she had to work hard indeed. One day, Henry came through with quite a heavy train. He tried his hardest to get up the hill, but it was no good. Bother! I was going well too. Molly was quickly called over and buffered up from behind. She gave a toot on her whistle, and the train began to move. It was hard work. The two engines pulled and tugged, and their wheels slipped. Suddenly, Molly's whistle sounded to stop, and the train came to a standstill once more. What's wrong, driver? What's wrong is that you were about to explode. It's clear that this train is too heavy for just two engines. Oh dear. They telephoned Edward's station, and they halted Barry to tell him to uncouple from his train and go help. He was most annoyed, but set off to come to the rescue. Molly and Barry pushed with all their might, and with a final puff, Henry was able to crest the hill. Barry and Molly returned to the station together. Molly felt embarrassed. Thank you for your help, Barry. Huh! If you can't push a train like that yourself, then you'll cause delays for all of us. Maybe Sir Topham Hatt should get another engine instead. Edward is much better at this. And he sauntered away. This made Molly feel very dismayed indeed. Later, Molly was waiting for some goods at Brendan. They had to be delivered by a lorry. She was most delighted when she heard Elizabeth, and she came to a stop beside her. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm glad to see a friendly face. I can tell, my dear. Where's that big, beautiful smile of yours gone off to? What did Thomas do this time? No, it wasn't Thomas. Well, began Molly, as she explained what had happened on the hill earlier that day. Goodness, that's despicable. Never before have I heard such a terrible misread of character. Now you see why I don't like some of these silly puffers. Don't fret too much about what Barry thinks of your banking, darling. You're more of a speedy engine anyway. I know, and I agree, but it's just, I wish I could prove it myself. I wish he could see that I can push trains. Just not ones that big. Oh, don't worry yourself about that. I'll try my best to pull a few strings for Sir Topham. He'll be at your shed door tomorrow morning. You can count on that. Oh, Elizabeth, thank you. Just as Elizabeth promised, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Molly the next day, but he didn't have the news she was hoping for. I'm very pleased with your work on the hill, he began, but it's clear to me that you need some help. I've sent for Neville, and he will arrive later today. Yes, sir, said Molly. She felt very disappointed indeed. Molly was just about to leave with another train to Brendam when Neville steamed in.
Hello, Molly. I heard you needed help with banking.
Oh, no thanks. Neville was flustered.
Pardon? I don't need any help. Good day.
And she flounced away. Despite Molly's best efforts, Neville continued to bank large trains with her, which he would do with ease. Often she would speak to Elizabeth about the situation.
It really frustrates me, she would admit. He really frustrates me.
Neville, meanwhile, would often take trains down the line. One such time, he went to the works and saw Edward.
Oh, hello, Neville. How's the banking going?
Oh, not good. Molly always seems angry at me, and I don't understand why. I'd just like to help, but she always tells me that she doesn't need me and can handle it on her own. Oh, she must hate me.
Edward chuckled. Don't worry, Neville. She doesn't hate you. I think she's just afraid of being seen as weak, that's all.
Well, if that's true, then how can I help her? I know she needs the assistance, but I don't want her to think that she's being replaced.
I know you do, but things like this take time. Soon enough she'll realize what your true intentions are. That's what always happens, you know.
The two continued to talk for a while, but eventually Neville left to go help out on the hill. Molly, meanwhile, was resting at Edward's station. She was enjoying her peace and quiet, when suddenly... My, he has so many trucks! We better go see if we can help. Those trucks will play their tricks, I bet. Indeed, murmured Molly, and she puffed away, rather reluctantly. Up ahead, Murdoch heaved as hard as he could, and Hector tried to get the trucks to behave, but it was no good.
Hold back! Hold back! You can't pull us! You can't!
They soon came to a stop. I'll call for a banker. Well, then never mind then. You alright, Murdoch? Called Molly. I'd be better if I didn't have to take these rascals. They've been nothing but trouble.
I say, added Hector, usually I can keep them behaved, but they're ruthless today.
The trucks giggled.
Ruthless rascals! Ruthless rascals!
You know the trucks. They'll get you all the same. So Molly buffered up and blew her whistle. Murdoch pulled and Molly pushed. The two strained with all their might, but their wheels kept spinning. Molly's driver quickly stopped her. I'm sorry, he said, but your boiler pressure is too high. Oh dear, we'll never make it. Just then, a whistle sounded ahead.
Everything all right, Molly?
Oh, Neville, please, could you help me push this train? It's too big for me alone.
Of course! Don't worry, we'll get this load over the hill in no time.
So Neville turned around and was quickly buffered up. Molly whistled, then did Neville, and finally Murdoch, and the trio began to move. The trucks tried their hardest, but with Neville's strength and Molly's speed, they got the train over the hill in no time. They soon returned to the station, where Molly had something to say. I'm sorry for being rude, Neville. Your efforts were tremendous. I understand that you deserve this job more than I do.
That's all right. I could never have done it without an extra pair of buffers. You got that train up so quickly. And besides, you'll always be useful pulling passengers, and I'll always be useful pulling goods. Thank you for apologizing. Friends?
Molly smiled. Friends. From now on, we'll work together peacefully.
Sounds good to me.
And that's exactly what happened. Soon enough, the two were working hard together. While most trains only needed one engine, the moment a train became too big for just Neville or Molly alone, the other would come quickly to the rescue. If you were to come and visit Edward's station, then you would see that they're a great team and keep everything tidy and organized. But above all else, you would see that the two are especially happy to be such good friends.
It was autumn on the island of Sodor, and on the Little Western, all the engines were kept rather busy indeed. It was towards the end of another long day, and Duck was busy collecting the last ballast train before he could rest at last. He was talking with the miniature engines. It's nearly Halloween. That means it's nearly time for bonfire night. Ooh, and for Edward Scary's stories. I can't wait to hear what he comes up with this year. Well, up here, I'm the one that tells the scary stories. Oh, is that so? Of course. Would you like to hear? Duck chuckled. Of course, Rex. Do tell. Oh, you'll be quivering in your wheels for weeks. Long ago, there were two diesel engines that helped build the railway. They were known as the Blister twins because they didn't start up right. They were black diesels and very, very small. A driver could barely fit in them at all. Once the railway was completed, the Blister twins disappeared as quickly as they'd arrived. None of us knew what happened to them. Sometimes, as you puff along at night, you'll hear the strange noises of diesel engines trying to start, but no diesel ever shows. What do you think of that?
Oh, please, replied Arthur as he pulled him with a passenger train. It's all right, but really? Ghosts? Come on, I've heard of scarier stories than that. I thought it was good. Don't be such a naysayer, Arthur. I know, I'm sorry. I just don't enjoy ghost stories very much. I've heard so many, and I just can't bring myself to believe a word.
I've got other stories if you'd like to lend an ear.
I'd love to, Rex, but I can't until my work is done. All this rushing about, he sighed. It makes me so tired.
Well, you better keep your wits about you. Otherwise the Blister twins might get you, Duck teased. Pah! The Blister twins can have their way with me for all I care, as long as I get a break. And Arthur chuffed away, leaving Duck and Rex chuckling to themselves, quite amused indeed. Night fell, and the moon shone as Arthur made his final delivery, fish for the flying kipper. He was half asleep as he trundled along the line.
Must keep to time, must keep to time.
But Arthur wasn't careful with his speed. Suddenly, he passed a workman's warning and derailed. Arthur was very embarrassed. In the morning, Douglas was sent to collect Arthur's vans. The fish wasn't fresh anymore, so he had to help remove the stench and collect new vans. But when he arrived, Arthur was nowhere to be seen.
Lost sakes! He's gone! I must tell the others!
Duck was shocked to hear the news. Surely he was put back on the rails. He must just be at the works already. Maybe the Blister twins heard how he was talking and took him away.
Don't tell me you told him that silly story.
Oh, lighten up, Mike. I didn't mean for Arthur to be taken.
Aye, what kind of story is this then?
Yes, is it why Arthur's gone? Rex smirked. Here, why don't I tell you two as well? Rex began to tell his story once more, and the other engines listened closely. Duck, however, was too deep in thought to hear. Later, the engines of the Little Western were called to the big station to receive a message from Sir Topham Hatt. With Arthur gone, you'll have to work extra hard to do his work and yours. To add to that, we will be inspecting the line at night to make sure there are no more delays, as not to disrupt the day services. If you see the workmen working at night, be cautious. Ryan, you'll be doing the first fish delivery for Henry Skipper tonight. Yes, sir. That night, Ryan was making quick work with the vans. As he passed the section of track where Arthur had derailed, he heard something. It sounded like a diesel engine trying to start up.
Oh my goodness!
Ryan passed whatever it was and was very scared.
It must be one of those Blister twins!
Meanwhile, Duck was waiting at the station. Why am I being delayed? I want to go home. But then he heard the sound of a diesel engine. Suddenly, one rolled past. Duck was frightened.
My goodness, the story is real!
The next morning, Duck organized a meeting between the Little Western fleet. I'm telling you, I saw a diesel. It was a little hard to see, but I think it was one of the Blister twins. Dinna fash yourself. It was probably...
I think I saw the other one. It was near the section where Arthur derailed. Oh, I think the line's being haunted.
Oliver just sat and listened to the engines argue. You haven't said much, Oliver. What do you think? I don't think that there is any ghost, and I've had no encounters, so I have no right to be scared. All right, then you would be fine looking for us, wouldn't you?
Pah! I'm sure I could manage, but I'm far too tired from all this extra work.
That doesn't stop you from doing the mail run tonight. You can look then.
Please, Oliver, investigate, just so we can be saved.
Oh, all right. I'll figure out your little ghost situation. Just tell me what to ask, just in case I do come across them. That night, Oliver, along with Toad, puffed down the line with the mail, keeping a close eye out for the Blister twins.
Mr. Oliver, I'm very nervous.
Indeed, I hope we don't run into anything.
Just then, Oliver came to a stop. Danger lay ahead. Oliver looked, and the rails were gone. Suddenly, the noise of a diesel engine crept around the duo. Oliver narrowed his eyes and watched for the diesel. Toad, meanwhile, had his eyes shut tight. The convoy's lights suddenly turned on.
Oh! Who goes?
The source of the noise winced as the beam put him on the spotlight.
I mean no harm. What's the deal?
Oliver was taken aback. This didn't look like a small diesel. It was quite large.
Well, I have a lot of questions for you. Most come from my friends. Why are you here? I've been asked to help with fixing the line here. You know about the engine that, derailed here, yes?
You know Arthur?
Ah, yes, that's the name. I helped him get back on the rails. I took him to the works as well. Sir Topham Hatt has now asked me to help with fixing your rails to make sure they are safe. I have to roll around at night, though, because I can't interrupt your services during the day.
So,
Toad quivered.
you're no ghost?
Is that what they've been calling me? That's funny. Oh, where are my manners? I'm Paxton, and normally I work around the main line doing track maintenance. I guess that's why we've never had a chance to meet. You're Oliver, I presume, and you must be Toad back there. You two did a daring escape.
Oh, it wasn't anything.
Not the way you tell it, Mr. Oliver.
That's right. It wasn't anything. It was amazing.
Well, all right, I guess I can tell it to you. It was a cold night. And with that, the three friends talked long into the night. Before long, Paxton was introduced to the others, and they were very glad to meet him. Once the rails were fixed, and Arthur had returned, Paxton went back to working on track maintenance on the main line. But he still came to help in the Little West Room when necessary, and they all found him to be a great friend, Rex especially. After that night, the other engines all agreed that Paxton was a perfect honorary member to their branch line, and even perhaps one of the Blister twins, back from the dead. One day, Bear was at the works receiving tweaks to his engine. It had failed once again, which did not make him happy. He'd always had trouble with his engine and wished it could perform perfectly. As he waited to get fixed, Peter Sam pushed her handle in beside him, also to receive maintenance.
Ouch! I said don't bump me. Have fun in maintenance, Sir Handel. Fun? How could I possibly have fun in this dusty old shed?
Everything alright, Sir Handel?
Ah! Oh, you. What's your name again?
Bear.
Oh, right. You're that new diesel.
I've been here for decades.
Ha! Don't bombard me with semantics. What are you in for?
My engine failed again. It's this cold weather, I tell you. It causes my engine to not start right. It's not like it keeps me any warmer.
Well, my firebox keeps me extremely warm. Or at least it would if I could actually use it right now. Ugh, this is torture. I feel like Smudger, just being forced into a shed for the rest of time.
Smudger? Who's that?
You've never heard of Smudger?
No.
Well, Smudger was a bouncy little engine who often came off the rails. He worked with Duke, Peter, Sam, and I back on our old railway. After an incident of mine, the manager took away his wheels and turned him into a generator.
Bear was aghast.
They used his boiler? If you hear Duke tell it, his boiler was perfectly sized for the back of our shed. It was like he was meant for it. But me, on the other hand, I deserve to leave this cramped shed and go.
Bear was bewildered.
Hold on, I'm losing my mind in this.
Before long, his engine was finally roaring again, and he rolled away, a little shaken. That night, a snowstorm hit, and it was deep and fierce. By morning, the snow was everywhere. It was very cold and made everyone miserable. At Kronk, Bear arrived to see everyone shivering. You can go into the waiting room, you know. It's a lot warmer. I would if the power worked. Oh, what happened? Asked Bear. The passenger explained. Our town lost its power in the storm. Nobody's homes have any heat at all. Bear was concerned. Oh dear, that's no good. My coaches should be warm, though. That's a relief.
I sure am cold. The guard and station master hurried the freezing passengers into his coaches. As he was preparing to leave, he saw Ronald arrive with some electricians.
Hello, Bear. Have you heard of this power outage?
Yes, just now. It's awful.
I hope these men can fix it. No power means no heat, and then everyone will be frozen.
Bear wanted to stay and help out, but the guard's whistle blew, and he knew he had to continue with work. As Bear rolled into the last station on the main line, he was still thinking about the poor people of Kronk. There has to be something we can do. Indeed there is. Hope those electricians work quickly. I suppose that's all there is. Suddenly, Bear remembered Sir Handel's story. Unless... Driver, my engine's a generator, correct? Yes. A big generator? Yes. Big enough to power an entire town? Bear's driver suddenly understood what he was getting at. Of course! Smart idea, Bear. I'll alert Sir Topham Hatt right away. And he left to find the station master. This made Bear hopeful. Sir Topham Hatt loved the idea. We cannot delay. Take Bear off his express and get Raggy to take him to Kronk immediately. And with that, Bear was transported quickly to Kronk and was placed in the powerhouse. The workman explained to Bear, "You can't power the entire town, but you'll give enough power to the local school nearby. They are acting as an emergency relief center until we can fix the main generator." No worries, anything to help. And with that, the men quickly got large cables and connected them to Bear's engine. Then they started it up, and with an almighty growl, the school's energy flickered back to life. The townsfolk cheered and celebrated Bear, their new hero. Over the next few days, Bear spent his time in the powerhouse, frequented by visitors. He would share stories, and he made many friends with the locals. He even got a newspaper article, with the headline reading, "Famous Engine Powering Kronk, Really Useful Indeed." While Bear enjoyed the attention, his anxiety was high. He kept thinking about the story of Smudger. One night, Bear sat in the powerhouse. It was cold, dark, and damp, with the recurring sound of his engine hard at work in the background. He was finding it hard to sleep. As he dozed off, he suddenly woke again. It was still dark. "Oh, never sleep," he moaned. "Bear!" echoed a voice. It was Sir Topham Hatt. "Sir? What are you doing at this time of night?" "Bear, I am very pleased with how you have powered the town, which is why I decided to let the town buy you as their new generator." "What?" "The old one is too useless according to the electricians, so you'll be perfect, as you always fail when you pull your trains. Goodbye, Bear. It was lovely to know you." "Sir, please, no! I don't want to be a generator forever! Sir, please, no!" Bear awoke with a start as the main generator came back to life. The electricians cheered. Bear looked around. It was morning. Oh, what a bad dream. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Oh, sir, please don't get me to the town. Look, the generator, it's working again." "Now, Bear, why ever would I do such a thing to one of my engines?" Bear told him the tale of Smudger. He dared not tell his controller about the nightmare he had, just to not get ideas. "As much as I'm helpful, I don't want to be left here forever. Well, Kronk is certainly very grateful for your help, Bear, but I would never let them sell one of my engines to power a town. And there's a difference between you and Smudger. He was made a generator due to his recklessness. You, on the other hand, volunteered for several days to sit and be a generator for the town. That is an attribution of a really useful engine." "Indeed," came a voice. It was the passenger from the other day. "Bear, was it?" "Yes. What are you doing here?" "As the mayor of Kronk, I'd like to give you a huge thank you for your willingness to help our city." "The mayor?" "Oh, yes. I was on your train to talk to the government about what we could do about our situation. I then received a call from Sir Topham Hatt saying that you graciously volunteered, and I was ecstatic. As a thank you, I would like to put you on the official honors list for the city of Kronk and donate a brand new engine, one that's sure to have you running perfectly for years to come." Bear was very pleased. "Oh my, thank you, sir." Once he was safely disconnected, Bear was brought back to the works. Sir Handel was still there, receiving his repairs. "Hey, I told you to be careful with my pistons. Ah! Oh, it's you again. Bear? Bear! I was gonna say that. Ugh, it's so boring in here." "Well?"
Would you like to hear a story? Sure. Pear chuckled. Alright, well this one just happened, and it might sound a bit familiar. And he told Sir Handel all about it. A few days before Christmas, a big snowstorm arrived on the island. While it was usual for that time of year, it would bring harsh conditions, and every engine knew it. Before long, they all had snowplows on, and began their new duty of clearing the tracks. But as snow continued to fall, and the piles continued to get thicker and thicker, the engines found the snow harder to clear than ever. They had soon discovered that it was difficult to get coaches and trucks out of the shunting yards, and that the rails were slippery, which could cause accidents. So Topham Hatt, having witnessed these issues, opted to purchase a new piece of machinery that would be very helpful indeed.
One morning, Gordon was puffing into the station.
As he did, Philip rushed up to him.
Gordon! Don't go to the station!
Why ever not?
There's a huge monster there. I mean huge, with big scary teeth. It looks like it eats engines.
Don't be ridiculous, Philip. I'm sure it's not that scary.
But Gordon was surprised when he saw what was at the station. Indeed, it was a huge machine.
What is this doing here?
Shh, whispered Hunter. So Topham Hatt's going to tell us now.
I would like everyone to meet Dustin, our new rotary snowplow,
said Sir Topham Hatt.
Dustin's blades in the front help to clear the line of snow, and he does it much faster than regular snowplows.
Everyone was very impressed, except for Gordon. Henry, James, and Edward shall try out Dustin on their trains today. And if all goes well, tomorrow, Donald, Douglas, and Gordon shall have their chances to use it. Gordon was speechless, and let off steam angrily. Sir Topham Hatt's hat nearly blew away.
I will not use this vile thing, he proclaimed. How dare you bring this newfangled nonsense here after what you did to my machine?
Gordon, I'm sorry, but it was broken and out of date. We all have to move on sometimes. Regardless, just like everybody else, you'll be expected to help trial Dustin no matter what. And with that, he walked away, much to Gordon's displeasure. Dustin frowned as Henry backed down with him onto his train.
Don't worry about Gordon, soothed Henry. He's always arrogant.
The big plow smiled, but quickly frowned again. The guard blew his whistle, and Henry puffed away. Before long, it was clear that Dustin was indeed a big help. He cleared snow off the line easily, and Henry was very impressed. Not only did they race through large drifts, Dustin's tender was also filled with salt, enough to coat the rails so they wouldn't be slippery. They soon arrived at Edward Station. Henry dropped off his train and went to rest. It was now James's turn to use the machine. As he was waiting for Gordon to rush by with the express, he spoke with Dustin, who was feeling better after a long run.
I love your railway, he said. It's like my old home. Everywhere I go, snow is about.
That's why you're so important. Our snowstorms just keep getting worse and worse, and this one's no different, said James.
Suddenly, a booming whistle was heard. Gordon rushed by with the express. He went so fast he blew snow onto Dustin and James.
Clear that, you silly machine,
chortled Gordon.
Your smoke box is the only thing that needs clearing here, Gordon,
returned James.
Don't worry too much about him, Dustin. He's just too big for his wheels.
Dustin smiled, but he still felt rather sad. James, frustrated at his ruined paintwork, rumbled all the way to the work station. Before long, they had arrived, and he parked Dustin in the siding and went for his next train. Dustin was still unhappy, as Edward came up to him. My, Dustin, what's the matter? He asked. You look like something's caught your blades. It's nothing, just... Gordon's been rude to me all day. He did it at the station this morning, and when James was about to leave. I wish I knew why he hated me so much. Don't worry about Gordon, soothed Edward. He always thinks he's right, but we know he simply isn't. I've known him for many years, and I know full well he'll learn his lesson. Do you think so? Wait and see. Dustin felt better after that. But wait, Edward! Yes? What does he have against me? Dustin questioned. Why does he dislike newfangled nonsense? Ah, well, back in the day, he had a machine of his own, one just like you, in fact. He always felt like the pride of the line using it. But then last year, it broke down. Gordon expected Sir Topham Hatt to fund its repair, but as it seems, he bought you instead. I'm sure he'll warm up to you soon, said Edward. Now come on, we've got work to do. Right you are, Dustin smiled. Throughout the rest of the day, Edward and Dustin helped to clear shunting yards and branch lines. By evening, Sir Topham Hatt was filled with nothing but praise for Dustin. You have been very helpful and efficient today. I know you will do a fine job tomorrow, too. Thank you, sir. The next morning, it was Christmas Eve, and Dustin was collected by the Scottish twins. They were to take a train to the station at the end of the line, and on their way, leave Dustin in the siding to be picked up by Gordon. When they left, Dustin waited in the siding. Then, he heard Gordon's whistle. But instead of stopping, he seemed to race right through. Gordon, wait! But Gordon was gone. Dustin asked the yardmaster why Gordon didn't pick him up. Let me phone the station master. He would know. He went to his office and returned promptly. Gordon threw a fit about taking you again, so unfortunately, Sir Topham Hatt decided to give in. You'll be stuck here until Christmas is over, I'm afraid. Now Dustin was more upset than ever. He sat all alone in the siding for the rest of the day, watching the other engines finish their jobs. He'd never felt more discarded. That evening, the snow picked up once more, and piles had begun to block the line near Crovan's Gate. There, Gordon waited impatiently for help. Beside him were worried passengers, hoping to return home in time for Christmas and attend the annual party at the big station. I can't get through all the snow on my own. I'll need help. I wish I still had my machine. Oh, get over it, Gordon, said his driver. And if I recall correctly, the only snow clearing option you have is Dustin. He's just on the line, and he's close enough to be reachable in these conditions. Surely they have a snowplow. No chance. We've dished them all out already due to the storm, added the station master. Gordon looked at the worried passengers and at Dustin through the storm. Oh, fine, I'll take him, he sighed. Let's hope we can get down the line to collect him before he's buried in snow. Gordon pushed through the storm. By the time he reached Dustin, they both looked like as though they were made of snow. Gordon? Dustin shivered. What are you doing out here? You need to help me get back to the big station. Dustin was fed up at this. You expect me to help you back after how you've treated me? He snapped. After you left me out here in the cold? Why would I ever want to help you? Gordon considered for a moment. I'm sorry, Dustin, he began. I know I've been rude to you, but these passengers need to get home. They're going to miss the Christmas celebrations. The snow's too thick for me now to help them on my own. Dustin, I really need your help. If not for me, for the passengers. Dustin realized Gordon was being sincere. Well then, he sighed, let's get going. We haven't got a moment to spare. Gordon smiled. Before long, Dustin was attached in front of Gordon, and once the guard blew his whistle, he hauled away into the storm. They raced across the slippery rails and fought through the snow. They were trying to make up for lost time. Snow drenched them in white. As they came to the hill, Gordon tried as hard as he could to get up. His wheels slid and his axles ached. It was hard work. Come on, encouraged Dustin. You've got this.
It's the ice, struggled Gordon. It's too slippery.
Don't worry, I've got plenty of salt. And Dustin began to dispense it. Gordon was aghast. It suddenly became easier. He started to cheer. Yes, we're doing it. My old machine could never have done that. Dustin felt very proud. Finally,
through much effort, they reached the top of the hill. It was much easier after that. At the big station, all the engines were worried. "Where is Gordon?" asked Thomas.
I hope he's all right.
Worried Percy. "Humph, serves him right for covering Dustin and I in snow yesterday," James added. Then suddenly, a whistle sounded out in the distance.
Do you hear that?
Philip looked into the distance.
Look, everybody, it's Gordon, he cried. And the monster! Eek!
"That's not a monster," said Edward. "It's Dustin." There, tired but triumphant, was indeed Gordon and Dustin. Everyone at the station cheered. Dustin smiled broadly. Behind him, all of the passengers poured out of the coaches and hugged their families. Not only that, but Gordon had been carrying none other than Santa Claus himself. The families all gathered around and caroled merrily. The engines, too, were delighted to see each other once more. Edward addressed Gordon directly. "I see you loosened up with Dustin, Gordon." "Yes, Edward, he was terrific." "You were right," admitted Gordon. "I may have lost my old machine, but it doesn't mean that I have to avoid the new one." Edward smiled and enjoyed the festivities. The engines were having a wonderful time. But soon, the festivities came to an end, and Gordon helped Dustin to a siding under a shed. "Thank you, Dustin. I'm sorry for doubting you. Without you, we never would have made it up the hill, much less out of Crovan's Gate." "Thank you, Gordon," replied Dustin. "I'm glad we're friends." Gordon smiled and puffed away. Dustin sat alone. As he drifted asleep in the cool, quiet night, he dreamed of all the engines and his wonderful Christmas time on Sodor. "Indeed," he spoke softly to himself, "I'm lucky to have such wonderful friends."